Okay. So good evening, guys. Yeah, but sorry, there's no light here. So I'm in Abuja now, so there's no light. I so I'm not sure my light. I'm not sure my face. Yeah, so we are going to continue. We have started the same. Though I guess I may still go back to maybe I will still go back to the. I was telling myself maybe I will go back to the what do they call it now? The preliminary matters. I'm still thinking about it, but this is chapter 5. So after now, I am still wondering what extent of what I will do with the references. Because there's a lot and I want to do that not even just specifically for you people but for general, but I will still talk about it for you people's own. Because the one I'll be giving people I will actually not be sharing to the public. I'll just be uploading it for only you people. So but maybe I'll be planning to do that referencing something on a larger scale. But to read the 700 pages has been my laziness. But let's just say how we get round about it. Maybe I'll look at highlighted places and do. But let's talk about chapter 5. That we want to talk about today. So what are the things that you expect? Now, I may not fully agree with some of the things that are here. But I will, this is what Pamela is giving him because when you look at the title of chapter 5, it says summary of findings. And I just wonder, because you now here in your chapter 5, you remember we have chapter 4 that says summary of findings. So there's a bit of confusion. But probably I did not look at all these things thoroughly. Because what you should have is um, summary summary of findings, or maybe you just say summary to cover both, and then your conclusion and recommendations. So that way you should have it, but I don't know why they title summary of findings and conclusion, because the summary of findings was actually in your chapter 4, which actually should be in your chapter 5. But I will I'll think it through and talk to him, talk to the HOD. Maybe there's something wrong with this template we see giving people. We may need to see look at it again. But I will look at what I want to I'll look at what I think I want to the objection of raise and of later. So for now, what we have here is that is summary of findings. But I said because that's not what we're presenting in this chapter 5. So I don't think that is the proper title for it. So I think we should just say summary for now. Now again, this chapter starts with introduction. Like we have the other ones, it has with introduction. So now this again, it refers back to the chapter 4 and then tell us what to expect in this chapter. So you should be able to, which if we are master from the other chapters by now, it should not be a difficult thing. Then you are supposed to give the summary of the work, what you have done so far. So you did the introduction, what and what did you do there? Give maybe like, which kind of thing is this? It's making that kind of noise. So you look at that, then you look at chapter 2. What did you do there? So by the time you do, if possible, maybe paragraph each, or you may not even need to do paragraph each. You may just do what's it called now? 2, 3 lines. If you have 2, 3 lines, you can actually also have them as paragraphs. So in that way, you give the summary of the work from chapters 1 to your 4, and then maybe in chapter 5, you'll tell us that in this chapter 5, you are going to be looking at something else. Like I said, if it is my own, after giving summary of the work, you are supposed to give the summary of the findings. So I think that thing has to move from chapter 4. Because even now I'm saying that if they title this place here, I will actually put just summary so that it will cover both the summary of the work and summary of the findings in this chapter. So the next thing should actually be the summary of the findings that you got from your analysis. Then for summary of findings, you can actually you can now extract your conclusion. So if you are able to, the way you analyze, whether thematically or whatever, if you're able to identify, and I know, if you also be able to identify those findings, it will actually help you with this one they are putting as contribution to knowledge. So from there, you'll be able to now draw your own conclusion. And now in drawing your conclusion, You see, it should provide your views on the research, because essentially the heart of, I don't know why, like I want to say, I don't know why they have moved this one of putting contributions to knowledge. I don't know why they brought it in and all of that. But conclusion should be able to tell us that. Because your conclusion should give us a reference back to your statement of the problem. That gap that you identified. In your conclusion, you should be able to now, because that eventually, that is the basic thing that it is that you have done. You started with the statement problem after you gave background to why you motivated to the study. Then you now went into giving a statement problem to identify the gap that you want to fill. And from where you now are able to extract your objectives and your research questions. So your conclusion should be able to take us, give us your views, give us in relation to your findings. Probably tell us what other people have done and that what is different in yours. And that's why I was saying that contribution to knowledge should be about what you did that is different. And that's why I don't know why now we are putting it as a different thing. But it's okay. If you give your conclusion, like kind of give us, if you are giving summary and you're also giving summary of your findings, in conclusion, you'll be able to actually tell us, oh, you did this is what motivated you, and this is what was the gap that you are finding, and this is what other people have done that they didn't, that made you to now find this gap. And that's why you actually link it to your literature review. And this is what you found. This is what you are concluding from your findings. And so that helps you to fill the gap that you identified from the beginning. Now, if you have found that now, what now happens is that goes to the heart of addressing your statement, the problem statement or statement to the problem that like you identify, that gap that you are feeling. So that conclusion should go to the heart of it. Now, if I'm going to go to the contribution analysis, maybe you can now list out, based on your findings, what is that new thing? Because it may not be one thing. Maybe from there you can list it out. Based on your findings, this is what you are contributing to scholarship. So, because you are drawing a conclusion. So let me put it like, it's like your conclusion, maybe we call it like the way you say, okay, aims and objectives, the global summary of striking at the heart of your statement of problem. Whereas a contribution to knowledge, you'll be able to tell us, based on the objective you found, or the objective that guided your research process. Now, what are you contributing to knowledge? So, like I said, it is quite awkward, but this is the way I can express it, and I hope somebody can understand. If you do not, let me know. So, based on your research now and your findings and your conclusion, what is it that you think is that new thing that you have done that you are now using to add to scholarship, to advance scholarship? Because the whole point of the work is to do that. So probably maybe people see now that the thing is buried, like aims that give a global view. Like the thing is buried inside the conclusion. Maybe that's why they now say, okay, maybe they want forces you to think about it. Okay, exactly all these things I have done. What have I added? How have I advanced scholarship? So maybe you will be able to list it. And I see most time people just list it. So maybe you'll be able to list it and say, okay, this is what I did, this is what I did, and this is how I have advanced scholarship. And when we think of that, probably it will also help us to be able to have clarity concerning our statement of the problem. So that is that for contributions to knowledge. So then recommendations. Now, based on your conclusion and the findings, what do you think now can be done? Anyway, mostly, I don't know how you will do recommendation for literary analysis. But it's also possible if by the time you're analyzing, you think there are some things that probably if the society does, we advance. So probably you can actually have a recommendation. Like I remember when I did analysis of semantic analysis of Richard Wright's Blackboard, I remember I was able to locate it. Because I was having, I did attainment and presupposition and I do a truth conditional semantics I applied those three instruments to the analysis of the data extracted from that novel. So I was able to see all of them. Like I always try to do this eclectic study. I was able to each one of them. They still come back to the oppressive system in the society, and I'm surprised. This 21st century, America is still where it is really, and people still have to be fighting to breathe. Anyway, are we not fighting to breathe in Nigeria, sir? Anyway, so that's where society is. And I come to wonder, why is it that basically the society remains the same all this while? Okay, so in your recommendations, I was just trying to think for you that if you are doing text analysis, can you really have recommendations? But when you relate it to the larger society in which the text was extracted from, yes, it may be possible. Then some of you are actually doing studies that are actually social in nature, or that has to do with human beings within the society. So it may also be possible that you can actually extract your recommendations. So you now say, what is it? And I think if you look at your significance of the study, it may also give you an idea. So which people are going to be impacted? And then you now say, okay, when you have drawn your conclusion, you now say, okay, these people, if they do this, if they do that. So you can, based on that, you can actually give your recommendations. Let's see again. Then you now have an aspect that is called further studies. So further studies essentially is that now you have this large issue and many issues, but you can only take an aspect of it so that I can do justice to it. But you can suggest. Probably you are doing a study that you are applying stylistic analysis, or you are doing critical discourse analysis of a text. But you now see, if actually somebody else does a truth computational semantics of it, it may actually be also very impactful. Or you say, okay, you could have loved to do this, but then you are suggesting other people can use this, or you have this data within this community, and you feel, okay, you can only apply linguistic instrument, but you feel that if there's a pragmatic instrument applied, it may also yield interesting study. Like I said, like I did in my own PhD now, I was just interested not just in the social issues, but I also was also concerned about the methodological and the theoretical frame, and I applied all of them. I experimented with an instrument I've never used before, and I brought together instruments that people say cannot be brought together, and I was able to prove that these things are basically related. And that of course that's my own conclusion to knowledge one. But and I was not able to say, okay, if I can't remember all those things I brought as my further, but I think I have about 4 or 5 of them. So based on the data, based on the social frame, based on whatever, or based on even the methodological approach, I feel that, okay, it could be applied to new data and see whether it will still throw up the same result. So these are the things, and that becomes when, like somebody said, when you are confused about what to study, this is the best way to actually start from. If you want to do a research, you can look at, oh, you are interested in this part of the topic. Okay, how did the person approach it? Let me look at the person's recommendation for further studies. You may find that you actually have easy topics to pick from there. So that one is also another origin, or whatever I will call it. So you give a summary of the chapter. Now here, your summary will not project anywhere because this is the last summary. This is the last summary you're going to be writing for the work. So just conclude it, tell her what you did, and probably, even if possible, okay, you've already done summary up there. So you don't need to just tell her what you did in chapter and it ends. You don't project to another chapter. So basically that is it. That is that for your chapter 5. It's not, because it's just like I always tell people, when I did my master's, yes, my master even just told me, say, once she was satisfied with my analysis, my chapter 4, just said, go and write it yourself. You know what to do. Of course, because I'm not going to show you, just make sure you edit it and there's no problem. But I'm going to score you. And I had to, nobody helped me read my chapter 5. I read it myself, so I had to be very careful and be concerned a lot about how I will frame it and all of that. So yeah, chapter 5 is not really, is not what do you call it now? It's not I don't know. I don't know. It's not supposed to be a big deal. If you can get your conclusion, if you can get it and we can hear your voice, we can hear, okay, after all this one you have done, this is what I have found, and this is how I'm putting it together to say this is the position I hold on this particular topic, on this particular matter, on this particular thing that people are talking about. You should have a position. That is your conclusion. That's where we are going to hear your voice. So, and that is very key, and that is very important. Yes, some of you base more on recommendation. No, is your conclusion is the heart, because it speaks to your statement of the problem. Because if there's no statement of the problem, there's no research. So basically, that is just it. So I don't know. I think essentially that is just what I need to discuss. But if we have what was it called now? If we have any topic, any point we want to make, then we can add. But essentially that is what it is about. So I will see whether I will go to references or the preliminary matters in the next this, because I will still be on transit and all of that. I don't know. But let's just see how it goes. Now that I've submitted a work, I think I'll have some breathing space now to do other things. So basically that is it. So if we have questions, I don't know how many minutes we have more, but if we have questions, but let's begin to put them together. Or if there's anything that is unclear for what we said, let me hear. Well, I don't know. Sorry, I forgot that I'm able online. Sorry about that. We are still in Nigeria.
No problem.
So please, do we have questions, or we are okay with what we have done today? I'm not going to go into the other ones. If I tell you the pressure was under since, okay, Bukola will not kill somebody. That old man, 73-year-old man. His wahala is more than, I think. Anyway, I bet this thing is going to go online, so let me not talk again. Okay, so do we have anybody? Are we clear with everything that we have said? Are we okay?
Yes, ma. I'm personally okay. I'm fine with what you've said.
Good. What about the other people? We are okay? If
yes,
okay,
ma.
So that we end the class, I beg. Are we okay?
I'm okay. Yes, ma.
Thank you very much. So that's it. So yeah, welcome. So we'll go to the other things after now. So maybe when we have done all this work, we now go back to find days to just discuss. And if we have questions, then anytime we want to meet again, probably when I run through everything. But let's say if anybody has questions, we just want us to meet for like 30 minutes, and then we just run through that, and that's it. So that anybody that wants us to discuss anything, maybe they want to raise it in the class. I mean, the chat room. So I think with that, so I guess I'm good now, right?
Yes, ma.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma.
Okay, so good night, everybody.
Okay, good night, ma.
Yeah.